like it's been forever since I was here, but I guess it was just last week. Hey. It's just because since now and then I was traveling, and so I don't have a chance. I gotta get a mirror here in the studio because I used to use my camera as a mirror, but now I can't because we've got that like countdown timer thing going on. Anyway, hello. Welcome everybody. I am so delighted that you're here. This is going to be a fun and interesting day. So much happening. All right, so I need to, let's get started. For those of you who are pouring in, and let's see. So my name is Margie Remmers-Davis. I am the founder and CEO of Acadian Accounting Education, and this is our weekly live stream that we hold every week inside of our free Facebook group, the QBO Gym Locker Room. You know, I have always called it a live stream, and we actually now call it Locker Room Live and all that, but it is actually a class. Like, I am the co-host of the unofficial QuickBooks Accountants podcast with Alicia Katz-Pollock, and she always calls everything that she does classes. And I don't know why I never use that terminology, but yeah, this is a class where we're going to go over a hands-on exercise because that's all we do here. So let me just get my computer situated here, and I'm going to share my screen. If this is your first time, Chris says, it is a class and it's awesome. Aw, Lillian says, I look forward to Friday morning. I learn a lot. That's awesome. I'm so grateful for you guys. I'm grateful that you're hanging out in the middle of summer when everybody wants to be out like at the pool. You guys are here with your head down, getting to work, which is great because, you know, I'm a workaholic. So I love to have everybody that is also a workaholic joining me. If this is your first time at Locker Room Live, please let me know, because I do have a tendency to talk about I do have a tendency to talk to everybody as if they were like you've been around forever and you know me forever. So all right, Anna, this is your first time. Frank, this is your first time. Jennifer, all right, awesome. Oh, Kelly, oh my gosh, so many. Okay, so awesome. Well, we're delighted to have you here. This is gonna be a good one. This is gonna be a good one because we're gonna. Well, you saw the email. And Chastity. So it's not chastity, but chastity. Welcome. And so we're going to do some good stuff today. This is the first time. It'll be a first time for me. I don't know if it'll be a first time for you guys. I'm anxious to have the conversations that we're going to have today. But let me go ahead first, share my screen. As I mentioned, this is being held live inside of our free Facebook group, the QBO Gym Locker Room. So if you're watching this recorded on YouTube, come join us for Pete's sake, because that's where you get to interact. Like, that's where all the good stuff happens. So you can ask questions. You actually get a copy of the exercise. We work it out, we work through it together, and it's totally free. So come join us. This, the QBO Gym Locker Room is your spot for hands-on practice using QuickBooks Online. That's all we do all day, every day. Hands-on practice, hands-on practice, hands-on practice. Because you cannot learn how to ride a bicycle by watching YouTube video, and you cannot learn how to do bookkeeping by watching YouTube video either. You have to actually do it hands-on. You have to actually click the buttons. You have to actually see how everything interrelates. So come join us. This is when you join the locker room. So in addition to this free class on Fridays, you also get a free on-demand class that you can take anytime. It's called the QBO QuickStart course. So the QBO QuickStart course, free for everybody that's in the locker room. So those of you who are new, oh, I just saw another one. Brittany, Shelley, oh my gosh, so many. So for those of you who are new, if you did not get your QBO QuickStart course, it was emailed to you right when you joined, which is why we ask you for your email address so we can send you goodies like that. So the QBO QuickStart course teaches you how to access the QuickBooks Online accountant account. So the accountant version of QBO is different than the regular subscriptions that a business owner gets. So you can get it absolutely free because you're an accountant, but it works differently than the other ones do. So we're going to teach you in this course, we're going to teach you why it's different, how it works, how to get a copy of it, how to sign up for it even if you don't have a firm yet, how to navigate it, terminology, workflows, like all of that good stuff is in your QBO QuickStart course. So if you don't know how to access it, you joined and you don't remember getting an email from us, write to support@acadian.com. That's AKADIAN. And we will help you find it. It usually ends up in spam, junk, promotions, all that stuff. All right. So let's see what's happening here. I'm having a little bit of an issue. I don't know what happened. All right. What happened, well, on my end, what happened is that the, here we go. Oh, I got a new message. I've got a new, I don't know, Zoom is doing something weird with the chat. Okay. I don't know what's happening here. All right. So, what was I saying? Anyway, so you get your free QBO, you get your free QBO QuickStart course. Also, as a member of the Locker Room, you get over 100 free exercises that you can use to practice using QuickBooks Online. So by being on the call today, you're going to get a free exercise, but you can get hundreds more by going in. People are always saying, where do I access them? And the answer is in the featured section. So if you go to the featured section, you can either click the tab here, or if you're on your phone, sometimes there's like the little hamburger up in the upper left-hand corner. Sometimes you have to find it there. Or there's a tile here, that says, this second tile, welcome to the Locker Room. So you got an email with all of this stuff also. But here is the link for over 100 free exercises. If you have any questions about what is happening, Lindsay, did we put the support doc in this? So every Monday I go live telling you all about all of the stuff that's going on. We've got some free, some paid, and this link right here tells you all the stuff that's going on, including like this class and other things that are happening. And then we have a support document. Yeah, so it's in the spreadsheet. So if you go in here, let's see, and yeah, have questions, click here to read our success guide. So if you are brand new to the Locker Room, you're trying to figure out your way around, you're trying to figure out like what to do, who to ask questions of, what's going on, what can you take advantage of, then click in there. You can get the success guide. I think we also put it in the welcome email in this welcome. And anyway, it's everywhere. Go to the success guide, get all your questions answered. And anyway, we love to have you. Oh, look, here's a new person, Jerry. All right. Anyway, don't want to get distracted. All right. So as I mentioned, in addition to the hundreds of exercises we already have, you also get to come every Friday, 11 a.m. Eastern, right here, and we go over a free exercise of the week. The exercise of the week is part of our paid program called the QBO Gym. Now, everything that I have mentioned so far, free live stream class on Fridays, free Facebook group, free exercises, free class, all that stuff, free. But obviously we have we have paid products, also free courses. I mean, not free courses, paid courses. And one of them is called the QBO Gym. The QBO Gym is a simulated experience being a bookkeeper. I like to say that we train bookkeepers like NASA trains astronauts. So, excuse me, if you have ever wished that you could shadow somebody, if you wish you could be an intern somewhere, if you took the certification courses and you're like, well, I'm certified, but I don't actually understand what a bookkeeper does every day, that's why we have the QBO Gym. It is an entire year's worth of simulated experience actually doing the thing. What did I say about the bicycle? You can't learn by watching. You have to actually get in and do it. And that's what the QBO Gym is for. You get an entire year. It doesn't take you a year to get through it. It takes about 42 hours each month. So it's broken up by month. Each month takes about 3 to 4 hours to complete. And you can try it out. The first month, you can try it out with the what we call the gym challenge. And Joel has posted that in the gym. If you paid for a year, when can you see where it renews? Write to support@acadian.com and we can help you with that. So the, let's see, what was I saying? Anyway, so yes, you can try the month free, and Jim, who's Jim? Joel, my husband, who is helping in the chat today, he posted the link in there so that you can try it out. Everything in the gym is connected to our proprietary dashboard called Booksmatch. Okay, so Booksmatch is it's like I said, it's our dashboard that keeps track of the skills that you are working on as you're working through the gym. Okay, so Billy Barton here is apparently our top one today. And so we track 3 important things in the dashboard, and they are knowledge, consistency, and speed. So knowledge is just all of the skills that you have reinforced for your entire time in the gym. So Billy here has 557 skills verified, and they're broken up into these 10 skill groups, and you can click on any skill group and then find out more information about what types of things. So I just clicked on troubleshooting, and these are the types of troubleshooting things, bank feed errors, negative inventory, etc., that Billy actually worked on. Then the other thing that, and then you can see also how you compare to everyone else in the entire pool, everyone that's in Acadian. So you see it says Acadian average. Okay, so Billy's knocking it out of the park here. But we did not want to disadvantage the people who were brand new in the gym and compare them to people who, like, I don't know how long Billy's been around, but he has ranked up a lot of skill points. If you're new, we want to give you a fighting chance. Like, we want you to be as comparable and to the people who have been around for a long time. And that's why we measure speed. Now, I don't know why Billy has a speed of 0. He should not be number 1 if his speed is 0. So let me see. Well, maybe, I guess he could technically. I'm just going to refresh this. So the reason we built all this out is because the people that were working in the gym and actually building out skills, we wanted to show you off to the world. And so that's why, so we worked with a recruiter to help develop this dashboard so that we could share who you are and make you really impressive. Okay, so yeah, so Billy is the top one. So I guess his knowledge is so high that he didn't need speed. But anyway, speed is not how, I don't understand these numbers. But anyway, what speed's supposed to be is it's not how quickly you work through an exercise, but it's how many not exercises, but skills you're able to reinforce within a week. Okay, so I guess he hasn't worked in here for over 7 days, which is why his skills are 0, because this is only for a week. But you do have to be consistent within every 2 weeks. So he has obviously worked within the last 2 weeks. So that's why his consistency is high. And the reason that we included this is if we're showing you off to the world, then and showing people how awesome you are, we want to make sure that you are consistent, that you're not staying stale in your skills. So we worked with a recruiter who to develop this dashboard, and what she said to us was that her number one frustration was reaching out to people who weren't actually looking anymore, who were on vacation, or who had found a job, or like whatever. She said she wasted so much time reaching out to people who weren't looking, that when we were developing this, she said, I wish that what would be really great is every week if you had somebody, if you made them go in and like check a box, say, yes, I'm still looking, yes, I'm still looking, yes, I'm still looking. And we said, I thought to myself, well, that's a little excessive every week. Let's do it every 2 weeks. And then I thought, why just check a box when I can actually make them do an exercise? So in order to maintain high consistency, you have to do an exercise at least every other week. And that's why we have our exercise of the week, is because some people have done everything in the gym. They're all finished with year 1 and year 2, but we want to continue to highlight them. And so I was like, well, we've got to give them an exercise of the week. That's where that came from. So the exercise of the week is actually a separate course in your dashboard. So you have so if you are subscribed to the gym, okay, and you have gained at least 250 points, and I should mention that 250 points is not the same as skills. So if I go back to the gym and I go, oh, that's annoying. Okay. If I go, and you'll notice that there is a little arrow right here, and I open that up, you can see how many points. Everything in the gym is gamified, so there's all sorts of bells and whistles and badges and woohoos to help encourage you as you're going through it, and you earn points that way. And different points they unlock different things. And 250 points will unlock the exercise of the week. You don't have to actually finish. The reason is because people were begging us for it, and so we said, okay, well, if you get 250 points, that's, I don't know, about a third of the gym through, I can't remember. I think each month is worth like roughly 40 to 45 points. So yeah, so a couple months into the gym, then you unlock the exercise of the week. Now, if you are on this call and you have the exercise of the week unlocked, not this one, and you have the exercise of the week unlocked, then when we do our exercise today, you need to click the link that is in the exercise of the week. Joel is going to post the link he's going to post the link for the exercise in the chat. That is only for people who aren't subscribed to the gym or who haven't unlocked it yet, okay? So if you're paying for the gym, use the one in the system, because that's the one that gives you Booksmatch credit. The rest of you who are just here to hang out with us and just want to do the exercise, that's totally fine. We love you, and that's who the link is for, okay? All right, so Joel just put that in the chat. Thank you. Diane says, I don't think the speed is working. All right, well, I'm going to have to investigate that later. One thing I need to tell you is that we are in the process of completely revamping the Booksmatch dashboard. And the reason is because now we have Fast Track. So fast track, so we built the gym first. I'm going to take you off screen share. We've got a bunch of new people here, so I just need to, sometimes I just turn off the screen share and I got to talk to you face to face. I got to tell you. So we built the gym, or we built the dashboard on top of the QBO gym. And we said, oh, this is really cool. Let's take this out to, look at all of these great people that we have and all of these wonderful things that they're doing. Let's start promoting them. And so we started knocking on the doors of accounting firms. We actually hired a full-time person whose job it is to reach out to accounting firms and say, hey, look at all of these great people that we have. Don't you want to hire them? And what we just kept hearing over and over and over and over was, well, QBO is great, but do they actually know bookkeeping and accounting? And we're like, oh, well, no, we're just teaching them QuickBooks Online. And so they're like, we just really want them to know bookkeeping and accounting. So we said, okay, well, let's create a course that lays the foundation. And we invited some of these accountants that we were talking to. We developed a tax advisory council, and they helped us create this new course, which is called Bookkeeping Fast Track, and that builds the foundation. It is all of the foundational information that the accountants wanted you guys to know in order to be, hireable and in order to be attractive. So we built out Fast Track, and we released that earlier this year. And so now what we need to do, now our next big project is to incorporate what you're learning in Fast Track in the dashboard, in the Booksmatch dashboard. So that's a big project that's coming. I think I had announced it previously that it was going to be the end of the summer. Our key developer is on an extended vacation, so now I'm thinking it's not going to be end of summer, but early fall. I would hope that this new Booksmatch dashboard, it's going to be much more clear. I know one of the things people complain about is the go to my courses button is so tiny. New people go to and they get their dashboard and they're like, where are my courses? So that's a big thing. We're making that more prominent. And we're making your certifications more prominent, and we're incorporating not just the QBO skills, but also the Fast Track foundational, actual bookkeeping and accounting skills. And we're also going to incorporate cleanup skills into it. So huge redesign coming for Booksmatch. If you have been using Booksmatch and you're like, you have ideas, there are things where I've always wished that it could do whatever. I always wish this could be easier. Let us know. Now is the time. Okay. So, all right, let me share my screen again. We're going to go back and we're actually going to do the exercise. Okay. Is that right? No, I have to click that button. Why are there so many buttons? There we go. All right, so let me go back to the exercise of the week. So this is what we're doing. That is why we exist. That's why we have an exercise of the week. And I was like, because it used to be that I just had to make up an exercise every Friday. So now I'm like, oh, now we've got an exercise of the week. And anyway, so yeah. So let's talk about our exercise of the week. Those of you who have been around for a while know that for many months now, the purchase orders have been broken in the sample company. And thanks to our amazing community, Intuit has fixed it. So that's what we are going to do. That's what we are going to do today. I thought since it's finally fixed, we can finally do it. Let's talk about purchase orders and how it works. But we're gonna do something special today. So we're going to hop through purchase orders quickly, and then we are going to, and then I have something special planned. Okay, so before I do that, last week I figured out how to mark comments in the chat so that I can come back to them. Okay. All right. Renee, I should be sharing now. Let's see. Rashi, I think Rashi wants the link to the exercise. Is that what you're talking about? So Joel, if you could post that again. I don't know if when you come new, you see like the earlier chats. So, all right. So let's talk about creating a purchase order. Okay. So remember, if you have the gym, then you need to click the link in your course. That's what gives you Booksmatch credit. If you don't have the gym or you don't have exercise a week unlocked, that's when you use the one that Joel just posted. Okay. All right. So let's look at our exercise for the day. All right. So create a purchase order. Our scenario is Craig just landed a new landscaping job for a residential client who wants to redesign their backyard. The work will require a significant amount of rocks and sod. To prepare, Craig needs to place an order with Tanya's Nursery, one of his regular suppliers. Okay, so all of our exercises use the sample company, which is provided by Intuit. Now, we love the sample company. We are so grateful for the sample company because other software providers don't give us this opportunity to just get around and play with data. Okay. However, the sample company is not perfect, and it's, you can't look a gift horse in the mouth. That's why when the purchase orders broke, we just kind of, at first we were just like, okay, well, I guess we're not doing that. I guess we're not practicing that. So anyway, so all of our exercises are in the sample company. And if you are in your QBOA account, then you can click the gear icon, you can select sample company, and it will log you out of there. But we have made it a little bit easier for you this year, and that is we have created a quick link to get to the sample company. So I'm going to open a new tab. I'm going to type Acadian, A-K-A-D-I-A-N, right here, acadian.com/QBOA. Okay, so QBOA. Tell it you're not a robot. Assume you aren't. And then you're going to continue. Okay. All right, so here is the sample company. And then I'm going to go back to my exercise right here. Now, all of our exercises are created with a software called Scribe. And Scribe provides a Google Chrome extension for people who want to use our exercises. So if you are using Google Chrome, you can go to your extensions. So if you go to this little puzzle piece here, select Manage My Extensions, and then go to the Chrome Web Store and look for this extension right here. It's called Scribe AI Documentation, SOPs, and Screenshots. Okay, so this is what we are using. You're going to load that, and once you have that loaded, when you're using an exercise, when you hover over the white boxes, you'll notice that there is a little Star Trek icon right here. Okay, and so when I click this little Star Trek icon, it asks if I want to start Guide Me, and I say confirm. Yes, I do. And then poof, magic happens. Magic happens, so that on the left-hand side of the screen is the sample company. That's because I already logged into the sample company. I forgot to mention that earlier. It's like if you have to be logged into the sample company already for this to work. If not, what will happen is you'll just log in on the side. But I always prefer to make sure that I have the sample company loaded. So now on the left-hand side is the sample company and the right-hand side is the exercise. So you don't have to flip back and forth. They're on the same screen and you can see them, okay? All right, so let's go through the exercise, okay? So to create a purchase order, you're gonna simply click, oh, I forgot to mention, this topic is tested on the QBO Pro Advisor Level 1, okay? Now, for those of you who are studying for the Pro Advisor, QuickBooks Online Pro Advisor test, the Level 1 test, this is, you have to know about purchase orders, but what you really have to know about purchase orders is how to copy an estimate into a purchase order, okay? So you give an estimate to a customer, and then you can convert that estimate, well, not convert it, but you can copy the items that you get from a vendor, you can copy those into a purchase order. We are not doing that right now. Right now, we're just creating a purchase order from scratch, okay? We have an exercise. It's both in the free exercises list somewhere, and it's also in the gym. We have two exercises that teach you how to copy an estimate to a purchase order. That's the piece that you have to know for the test, okay? This is what we're doing today, and I purposely picked a really short one because of the next thing that we're gonna do, okay? So, anyway, so we're just creating it brand new. So the situation, just so you remember, the situation is when you order something from a vendor, okay? Now, you're ordering something, you're not buying it. So this is a non-posting transaction. This is just to help you keep track of what you need to have on hand. Okay, so I'm gonna click plus new, select purchase order. This is with the vendors because I'm purchasing something, I'm ordering something from a vendor. Purchase orders are very common. They're not super common in a lot of industries. There's just a few key industries where purchase orders are common. Construction is pretty common. Government. We don't really use QBO with government, but government. You might be working with a small city government or something, and purchase orders are a big thing. Okay, so here I am in the purchase order. Under vendor, we're going to select Tanya's Nursery. All right, now notice with a purchase order, there is a status. This is only open and closed. Those are the only two statuses. If you're familiar, if you're studying for the Pro Advisor test and you're learning about estimates, or if you're in the gym and you're learning about estimates, then you know this for an estimate, there are several different statuses. You know, there's accepted, closed, deleted. I can't remember what they all are. There's 5 different statuses for an estimate. For a purchase order, it's just open or closed, okay? All right, so there's our purchase order. I just said about open or closed. Okay, so now let's talk about, we've got category details and we've got item details. And this is what you'll see, these 2 different grids on most money out transactions. And this always trips up people. If you're new, if you're brand new, this is a thing. You're like, what is the difference between category and items? So let's take a minute to talk about it, okay? The category details are this list. When you select a category, it's going to pull directly from the chart of accounts, okay? So it's going to say, what category of stuff am I ordering? And you pull the list that you see here is directly from the chart of accounts. This list right here, item details, pulls directly from the products and services list. Okay, so if you are keeping track of the specific products and services, not just the general category of things. So a general category would be office supplies, and a specific item would be a paperclip. Okay, so, or a box of paper clips, right? The specific, are you keeping track of the specific number of pens you have on hand, or are you just keeping track that you bought, a box of, that you had office supplies? Okay, so that's the difference. Now, let's go back to our scenario here. So the scenario is, so Craig just landed a new landscaping job for a residential client who wants to redesign their backyard. The work will require a significant amount of rocks and sod. To prepare, Craig needs to place an order with Tanya's Nursery, one of his regular suppliers. So what are we getting? We're getting rocks and sod. Now, if you are familiar with the sample company, you know that rocks and sod are on the products and services list. Let's take a look at it. I am going to duplicate this tab because I don't want to lose my purchase order. So I'm just keeping that purchase order open, but I have a different purchase order. I'm just going to go real quick over to my list of products and services. And you will see here's rocks and here's sod, okay? But if I go, so you may think to yourself, oh, well, rocks and sod, that's on the products and services list, so maybe I need to use the items details. If I go here and I select this down arrow, you'll notice that rocks and sod are not on the list. Why is that? I'm gonna just let you, sometimes I like to just let you guys answer. Why even, I just saw it on the products and services list. Why isn't it there? While I'm waiting for you to answer, I'm going to adjust my chair for a little bit because it's a little low for me. It's driving me crazy. Okay. And now I'm too high. All right. Why is it that the rocks and sod, there we go. Oh, I feel so much better. Okay. Why is it that the rocks and sod are not perfect? Oh, William Barton, weren't you the one that we were just highlighting? Weren't you the Booksmatch winner today? Billy Barton. Awesome. Yes, because this item details, those are only inventory products. Those are only inventory products. So, and the sod and the rocks are not inventory products. That means he's not keeping track of the specific ones that he that buys and sells. Okay. All right. So that means we're going to put the rocks and sod in the category list instead. So who can tell me what the answer's right there. I shouldn't even ask you because the answer's right there in the exercise. But just humor me and tell me, what category should the rocks and sod be on this purchase order? What category should it be? Bum, bum, bum. Deanna, cost of goods sold. Yes. Why? Why is it cost of goods sold? Why is it cost of goods sold and not something else? Job materials, that's a really common, that's one, that's in the chart of accounts. Exactly, because they relate specifically to the work Craig does. Very good. Yes, Kelly, because this is Kelly, there's an important nuance right here. So Kelly says because he uses this to do his job, okay? He also uses shovels to do his job, but shovels are not the things that he sells. So shovels are more like overhead. Now, I don't know. Jane is in the group and she's our resident tax person, so feel free to always correct me. But yeah, Yeah, but the thing is, so Paula says he's using these materials for this specific project. Yes. So excellent. So these are going to be cost of goods sold. Jane agrees with me on the shovels. Excellent. Always got to have Jane in your back pocket. For those of you who don't know, Jane Adams is our resident enrolled agent, and she supports the fast track course. Because if you don't know what an enrolled agent is, they know everything about taxes, and they are certified to represent people to the IRS. So they know all of the nitty-gritty, and we are lucky enough to have Jane on our team, and she supports the people taking fast track and answers questions, and is so great to have on when she comes comes here on our live stream. All right, so Kelly says, could you say that again? I don't know what exactly you wanted me to say again, but what I will say is that the rocks and sod are cost of goods sold, okay? Because, oh yeah, the nuance. So what you had said specifically was because he uses this to do his job. But he uses a lot of things to do his job, but they aren't cost of goods sold. So a shovel is something you would use to do your job, or a tractor might be something he uses to do his job, but that's still an expense to the business. That's an operating expense. That's what he needs to be able to do the thing. Whereas the rocks and sod are actually the things that he's selling, okay? So that's the difference between cost of goods sold, costs or COGS. COGS are the things that you are actually selling. Okay, so it's either the raw materials that you're, putting together, or if you're a retail store and you just like buy a thing at one price and sell it, at a higher price to somebody else, that's also cost of goods sold. Okay. All right. So there we go. Let's see. Okay. So in category, we're going to say cost of goods sold. All right. So let's see, I talked about this right here, was going into detail about the category grid versus the items grid. We'll come back to that question. Okay, so cost of goods sold, for our description, we're going to say it is sod at $4 each, okay? And then for the amount, well, I don't know what the amount is actually, but if I type 50 times 4, so 50 rolls at 4, then QBO will do math for us. And so if I just tab out of it, it will automatically do the math. Okay, so that's what we included here. Alrighty. Now, since this was a specific customer, Joel or Lindsay, could you put the link in the chat again for Christine? Since this is for a specific customer, this is not just stuff that he's going to have on hand for multiple customers. I mean, maybe it is, but from the scenario, we get the idea that he's buying it specifically for this customer. It would be a good idea to put that customer's name in here. That way it's linked to their account. You can go to that customer and see their history and all that. I didn't include that in the exercise, so we're just not going to do that part. Okay, so the next thing is, again, cost of goods sold. Okay, and this one is rocks, 15 bags at $12 each. So again, I'm going to have QBO do the math for me. 15, not 0.2, 15 times 12. Okay, so it did the math. So there's the purchase order, and then I'm just going to hit save and close. Now, for those of you who have been on these calls before, you know what I like to do is I like to hit the save button, not the save and close, the save button. And then we go and look at the transaction journal because I want you to know the nitty-gritty details. Well, it's not me that wants you to know it. It's the accountants that want you to know the nitty-gritty details, the debits and credits, like how everything is moving. So typically when we do these exercises together, we go save, then we go more, and then we click transaction journal. But look, there is no transaction journal. Why is that? Well, I'm not going to quiz you this time, but it's because this is a non-posting transaction. This is not a posting transaction. This is just a record so that we can keep track of it. Okay. All right. So that is it for our exercise. Now I'm going to go save and close. And that's it. Now I'm back. I'm going to come back to Uyi says it's a non-posting transaction. Excellent. Let's see. We've got lots of stuff happening here in the chat about let's see. Okay, so David said, can services have a COGS? The answer is yes. Jane gave a pretty thorough answer. She said you could in the books, but not on a tax return. IRS specifically states the services don't have COGS. I don't put COGS in the books for services. That's fascinating. I did not know that was the case. This is why we keep Jane around, because she always provides this kind of insight. I totally thought services were I'm gonna have to talk to you more about that, because I definitely thought that services could be COGS. All right, let's see. Jessica is asking, would fuel be considered COGS? It all depends on what it's for. So if you, I don't know, I'm gonna let Jane answer that question. Really, it just depends on what it's for. That's how you determine what, that's how you determine what's COGS and what's an operating expense. All right. And then David says, can have a COGS if you use a subcontractor to do some of the work, like a brand manager using a graphic designer for a logo. Well, if you're saying that if your service is that like you are a brand designer and you use a tool like some kind of software or tool to provide the service, I think that would be cost of goods sold, yes. All right, but again, always check with Jane if you have her in your back pocket, or the accountant, because I'm not an accountant. But yes, I would think that if that's the service that you're providing, any tool that you use to provide that service. Well, for my company, for example, we use we use several softwares in order to deliver on the courses that we provide, and we count all of those as COGS because that's why we have them. We use Scribe, for example. I just said we use Scribe to create our exercises. That's the product that we're that's what we're using. But so that's a cost of goods sold to us. But I guess it's not, a software as a service, that's a new thing. I don't know. And then if we have people who are, like, their entire job is to, like, we just hired people to update the scribes because they are, they're getting outdated as QBO changes. And so we just hired some people to, their entire job is to update our scribes. And so us paying them to do that is COGS. So I don't know, unless, yeah, so Jane agrees with me. Yeah, okay. So she's answering specifically here. Jessica asked earlier about fuel. This one is if it's used for production of the product. Yeah, so it really just depends on what you're using that fuel for. Okay, Now let's get to, now that we've done our purchase order, and those of you who are subscribed to the gym, you clicked the link. Now you make sure you go and click the other one that says you did it. Those two things are how you get your credit. So now that we've done that, let's turn our attention to the next exciting part of today. So unless you are under a rock, unless you have been under a rock or, out at sea somewhere with no internet, you know that QuickBooks Online is undergoing a major facelift. Like it is a giant change to how QuickBooks Online is operating. And it has been driving me crazy that we can't see it yet. So the timeline of it is the timeline of the rollout of this new interface is all new QBO clients are getting the new interface. Okay, so brand new client signs up today, they get the new interface. All clients who are not attached to accountants have already been switched over to the new interface. Clients who are attached to an accountant, and if you're brand new and you don't know what I'm talking about, go through that QBO QuickStart course so you know what I'm talking about when I say attached. But clients who are attached to an accountant, the accountant can switch them over to the new interface and can switch them back if they don't like it. Okay, so you switch over to the new interface, you say, you work for it a bit, this is awful, you can switch it back until September. Come September, you will no longer have the option to switch back. Come September, everything will be switched over to the new interface. So, we need our hands on this new interface. As accountants, we need our hands on this new interface right away, right? So we can understand it and learn it and practice it. So, remember how I said that the purchase orders, I just noticed that you guys I didn't scroll. There have been so many chats that I missed. Okay. Okay. I think the team's taking care of it. Oh. All right. So, I mentioned that the purchase orders was not working for a long time, and then now it's suddenly working. Okay. And I think that is because of us. I think that we are the ones that brought it to attention, or to Intuit's attention, and made it happen. Okay. So what we're going to do right now as a team, okay, so all of you, let me share my screen again. Okay. So we're going to share our screens. We're not all going to share our screens. I'm going to share my screen. Okay. I'm going to share my screen. Okay. And I want you to go to, we don't need the exercise anymore. I want you to go to the gear icon, okay, and then select feedback, and then I want you to write to Intuit and say, use your own words, but please update the test drive. Don't say sample company. I'll tell you why in just a second. Please update the test drive to the new interface so we can practice using it. Okay, please update the test drive to the new interface so we can practice using it. ASAP. I'm going to put ASAP. Use your own words. Okay? So we are going to flood that. We did this about purchase orders. Please, please, please fix purchase orders. And they did it. So now we're going to flood this. And I actually, just this past week, I was at a conference, Bridging the Gap, accounting conference, and I talked to the people at Intuit, and they were like, we know, okay? All right. So please, please, please update the interface. Okay, so we're going to click that. So now they know the test drive. Now, I noticed I didn't say sample company. The reason is I learned that the accountant sample company is getting a facelift also. That they are completely changing how the QBO sample company, so different, not the test drive. I should clarify that that there are 3 sample companies that we use, okay? The one we've been using today is the accountant version of the sample company, okay? But there are also 2 other sample companies. One is for QBO Plus subscription level, and the other is for QBO Accountant subscription level, okay? So those 2 are client view, okay? So a client, it's like what the client would see, and then the accountant version is what the accountant sees, which is it's a little bit different, okay? So it's the test. So the accountant version, what I heard, I mean, I spoke to the lady at Intuit, and she is like over the accountant version at QBO or at Intuit. She's over QBOA, and she said that the accountant version is getting a giant facelift. It's going to be totally different, and they're going to announce it in October at Intuit Connect. So I'm going to be at Intuit Connect. I would not miss it. I recommend you go to Intuit Connect. I have never been before, so because for a lot of reasons, but one of them is I have a love-hate relationship with Intuit. Anyway, I'm going to be there. I'm going to learn everything that I can. There are podcasts available. I've started listening to, and I don't have the link for you because because I wasn't prepared. It's called On the Books, and it's Intuit's podcast now, and they're talking about all of the changes to the interface. And so anyway, we need to practice it. So that's why we're flooding the feedback. So that's why I said test drive, because they have to update the test drive, even if they have big plans for the accountant version, they still have to update the test drive. Like they use that for sales. So that's still, I think, got to be there. Okay. All right. So okay, let me kind of come back to that question. Okay, so what I'm going to do today, though, is we're going to do a little test drive. I mean, I'm going to give you a little tour of the new interface. We're going to talk about it, and we're going to see how to create a purchase order in the new interface. But it's not a sample company. That's why I can't give it to you, because it's not a sample company. It is just a version that I have access to that I converted, and it's empty. So, all right, I gotta get logged in here. Let's see. Okay, Chris says, I love the idea of flooding together because it's really important. Yes, like we have so many people. Like today we've got 88 people on this call, and 88 people flooding the feedback with, please give us this. Like, I think that's why we got I think that's why we got the purchase orders back, is because Lindsay and I 2 weeks in a row were like, please give us. And I know that every Friday is when they review the feedback. So, because I heard that from somebody else. So, anyway, okay. Dun, dun, dun. All right, let's do it. Let's do it. Let's do it. Preparing for this was honestly the first time I'd ever clicked any buttons in the new, Why isn't it sharing? I clicked the share button so many times. Okay, click, share. There we go. Dun, 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 dun. This is the new interface. This is what it looks like. So I am an accountant attached to this sample client file. So if I click, I can go back to my practice, go to the other projects and the client files that I have, right? So this is a sample client file that I have, and I converted it to the new thing. All right, Betty Jo is asking, are you saying that QBOA's interface will be updated in September? No, October. It's going to be updated in October. Well, they're going to announce it in October at Intuit Connect. I don't know when it's going to transition over, but the certification season starts in November. So that's all happening all together. I saw somebody said, if we haven't gotten around to getting certified, should we wait? They did announce this week that they are changing the Pro Advisor test next week. And I don't think that it's going to be, I don't think that the new Pro Advisor test is going to be dramatic. It's not going to be about what we're looking at here because nobody has it yet. So I don't expect that to be until November. They're probably just tweaking some things. We'll see. We'll find out next week how it changes. All right. So let's just poke around this a little bit together so you can kind of, because it's like, whoa, this is so different. And the last couple of days while I was preparing for today was the first time I actually got my hands on it because I just figured out how to do it. I just figured out that I could do it. Let me say that. Okay, so first of all, let's talk about this left navigation bar. Okay, so the plus new button has been replaced with just this create button, which is interesting because it used to be like that. It used to be just a little round plus. It was on the right hand side, but it was called, and they called it quick create. And that's what they call it. So now it's just create. So now instead of plus new, it's back to the terminology of the create. So you'll notice that when I hover over that, this looks very familiar. It's identical. It's exactly the same. So we're going to come back to that when we do a purchase order. Okay, so then we've got bookmarks, if we wanted to add them. We have dashboard, which is this main page that I'm on right now. Then we have feed. Feed is all of the AI stuff. Okay, this is not bank feed. This is not your bank feed button. This is if I click it, this is your business feed. Okay, so I don't know much about it. All I can tell you is it's not the bank feed. That's because that was confusing to me. Okay, so then here's how you get to reports. You'll notice that the reports are it's the same. Standard reports, custom, management reports, performance center. Here's financial planning. They moved these things under this thing, so that's where those are. And then we have this thing called My Apps. Now, in the olden days, we used to have centers. So those of you, I was going on and on about the QBO QuickStart course. Right now, the QBO QuickStart course uses the term centers because that's what it's always been. Back in the old, in the version that's in the sample company right now that we are practicing with earlier, just a few minutes ago when we did our exercise, those were in that interface, those were called centers. So you could go to the sales center or the expenses center. Okay, so now these are called apps. And the reason they're called apps instead of centers is because they each have an AI agent embedded in them to assist you. If I go back to the dashboard, okay, you'll notice up at the top here, okay, these are the same. These are the apps, okay? So if I click here, look, if I hover over, see, it's the same, okay? These are the same. Now, you can pin certain ones, the ones that you use most, and that's what this is here. So pinned is the accounting center, or the accounting app. That's where we're used to going for bank transactions. Look, when I click that accounting app, notice how it's like they've added the old menu onto the new menu. So it's pretty much the same. Those of you who do cleanups, here's where your client overview is for your pricing. Here's where books review is for doing the actual cleanup, okay? These two are only available to accountants. Notice how it says here, accountant only view. So you're only seeing these two, the client overview and the books review, because well, let's see. Yeah, accountant only view. Okay, so you're only seeing those because you're an accountant. But then here are bank transactions. And then remember, there's no data in here because this is not a sample company. This is just an empty company. So we've got bank transactions, integration transactions, which is the other things that come in. So like your PayPal comes in, your, whatever thing you have connected that comes in, receipts, reconcile. You're used to seeing all of these things, okay? And then expenses and bills, okay? So this is the same menu as we saw before. It just has kind of a facelift, and it's just moved like the thing that's going to trip people up in the beginning is just where to find things, okay? So we have these pinned, and if I click customize, see, here's your list, okay? So you can you can pick 3 here to be here that are there. So in order to click another one, I have to unclick. So if I say, oh, I don't want sales and getting paid, I actually want Customer Hub instead, okay? Then I can save it, and but then I unclick it, make it clickable. Okay, so those are your pins. And then also, if I go, so I can minimize this and close that. So if I go back to my dashboard, I can customize this also. Let's see. Is that where it is? No, that's the business feed again. It tells me, where did I find that before? Was it here? No. Was it here? No. Where was that? I did find it earlier where you can, oh, maybe if I go all the way to the end, no. You can customize the ones that are at the top here also. And I can't remember now where I found that. What was interesting, oh no, it's this, the create actions. This is the one where you can customize what appears here, these create actions, the things that you use all the time. You can make them buttons. And if you don't, look what it says, choose your favorites. If you don't customize, your top actions will change as we learn more about you. So that's pretty cool. Like the more you're in it, the more it's going to know what probably your quick actions are going to be. All right. Let me check the chat here real quick. Let's see. Oh my gosh. Jane's got a whole big thing about cogs. let me come back to that one, Mark. Let's see. Oh, okay. I guess took care of that. Okay. So let's take a look at how we would, let's take a look at how we create a purchase order. Okay. So I'm going to click the create. I'm going to click purchase order. And look at that. It looks identical. It looks identical. So my point is, oh, it's missing, it's missing the items. Why is it missing the items? Because that's actually a setting, whether you want to have the items there. So, but otherwise, like, it functions exactly the same. So as we make this big transition, the things that we have to be aware of, like the big learning curve, is going to be two things. One is just where we find things, because some of us use it really well and know where everything is automatically, and anytime, it's like when they change things in the grocery store. Don't you hate that? You're like, I'm so used to going right here, I just want to go right here, and then they moved it, and then it's very annoying. That's all it is this new interface is just moving stuff. And we here at Acadian, we're committed to always having the latest materials. So we are, as soon as this drops, as soon as we have access to the sample company that is updated, we're in there. Like I just told you, we hired two new people who their whole job is to update the scribes. So we're gonna be in there. We're updating the videos. We're updating the scribes. We're updating every piece of content that we have to make sure that you guys have the latest and greatest. But the thing that you need to know is primarily, you don't have to freak out, because primarily it's just where things are, okay? Where things are. But the second thing is all of the AI stuff that is that's in there, and the AI stuff is it's designed to help you. And the lady at the Intuit lady that I talked to this past week, when she talked about the QBO changes, is that like she said, we are adding so many cool things that are going to make your lives easier. That's what she said. You're going to be so excited about it. Like she was so excited about what's coming for the accountant version. So that is that. So as soon as we know, and I told her, I said, those of us who are trainers, if we could have some kind of advanced something to help us get ready, like that would be amazing. She said, I know. Okay. All right. So let's, all right, we always wrap up with marketing. So we're going to finish up marketing here. We're going to talk about marketing here in just a minute. But before I do that, I'm going to address the questions in the chat. And I know that there was one I marked a long time ago. Oh, shoot. It doesn't go back all the way. Oh, favorites. There we go. Okay. So Brittany asked, is bookkeeping fast track suitable for experienced bookkeepers or just new bookkeepers? I'm experienced in skills, but need to start networking marketing a little better. Okay. So bookkeeping fast track is designed to take somebody from knowing absolutely nothing. The first lesson is, what is bookkeeping? Okay. So it's designed to take you from what is bookkeeping all the way to being an elite, experienced, tax-aware, communicative bookkeeper. Okay, so it takes you all the way. It's very, very detailed. This is not just skimming the surface of what bookkeeping is. It's bookkeeping foundations. It is very detailed about, there's a lot of information about entities, tax awareness. Like I said, we created this advisory council to help us identify what do accountants, CPAs, tax preparers really need the bookkeepers to do before they get the books, okay, to save them time. Like we talk in the course a lot about like your job is to make everyone else's job easier. So we teach you how to make the job easier for the accountants and easier for the businesses. We teach you how to interpret reports, how to communicate with the business owner about their business. So it's very, very detailed, very, very thorough. However, we do get a lot of people who, like you, Brittany, who say, well, I'm really experienced and I know all this stuff, I don't really need it. And that may be true. We have some people who are super, super experienced who get fast track and go like, I've been doing this for 30 years and I never knew that. And they're always, they're learning. And then we get some people who sign up for a fast track just to see what it's like. And then they go through the first few modules and they're like, this is so easy. I know this already. Well, of course you do, because we start at the very beginning and say and it's level by level. So to address that, and I really wanted to have it announced already by now, but we are developing an AI-driven interactive assessment. So you're going to be able to go on, and it's like taking a test, but it's not like a test, because you're having a conversation with the AI, just trying to figure out where your knowledge of bookkeeping is, like where you are on the spectrum of how much you know. And at the end of that, it might say, yes, you're amazing and you don't need to take fast track. Or it may say, well, you know a lot, but here's the specific modules and lessons in fast track that you really should revisit, that you really should learn to have your knowledge be deeper. And then it may say, no, yeah, sorry, you really need to take fast track. Okay, so that is coming soon. I really hoped that it would be available already, but running into some technical issues, and I'm a perfectionist. So, all right, that is Brittany. All right, I marked here about can services have a cog? I know Jane put a huge long thing in the chat answering about services and cogs, and I saw a bunch of people say thank you, and so hopefully I'm not going to go through it. Let's see. This is a big long thing. I don't know what's going to happen if I put it on the screen. Let's see what happens. No one can see me anymore. All right. This is, I think, helpful though. Let's do it. Okay. The IRS defines cost of goods sold primarily for businesses that manufacture, buy, or sell goods for profit. Therefore, personal service businesses generally do not have COGS for federal income tax purposes because they do not have inventory or goods to sell, no physical products. Examples of personal service businesses that typically do not have COGS: law firms, accounting firms, and list of all of these things. You can pause the video and watch it. Important note, these businesses still incur other business expenses necessary to operate, such as rent, utilities, salaries, office supplies, advertising, and professional fees. These are typically deducted as ordinary and necessary business expenses. I assume that says not as COGS. Very interesting. Thank you, Jane. This is why everyone has to have Jane in her back pocket. And yes, David says, Jane, you are the best. And somebody else said something funny about GPS being Jane. All right. Anyway, all right. Others that I marked here. There was some conversation about the certifications. So if you in the process of getting certified. Let's back up a little bit and just talk about certification. Okay, so Intuit offers a free certification called QuickBooks Online Pro Advisor, and there's level 1, level 2, and payroll, and you can go through their training material, the Intuit training material, and take the test. Joel, if you want to put in the everything document, so we put together a free ebook that goes into every detail about the Pro Advisor certification program at Intuit, like when you have to certify, when you have to recertify, like how you actually access the training materials, where you go to take the test. It also includes information about the accountant version, because you have to have an accountant version in order to take the test. The actual test taking tips, like for example, when you do the last question, it automatically submits, so you don't have a chance to go back and take the test, to review your answers. So all sorts of like stuff, we put it in what we call the everything document. It's called Everything You Ever Wanted to Know About QuickBooks Online Pro Advisors Academy and Certification. Okay, so that's number one. You want to make sure and get that. Okay. The second thing is, so one of the things you'll learn in that ebook is that there's two ways to take the test. You can go through the training materials and then take a test. So for each of the certifications, there are 5 separate, they call them courses. There's 5 separate courses in the certification track. You take each course, and then at the end of it, there's an exam. Okay, so you take 1 exam, 2 exams, etc. Or you can just challenge the whole thing and say, I just want to skip out of this, and you click a little button that says test out. This is all in the ebook. Okay, there's a little test out option. The test out option, you go and you take all five exams in one sitting. Okay, and it's timed. The other ones aren't timed. The one that's test out, you have a limit to the number of times you can take it. The ones that are inside the course, it's unlimited. Okay, so we always recommend that you do the one inside the course, because you have unlimited chances to do it, and it's not timed. If you do the one that's inside the course, then as you are going through the training material, you have to take what they call we call them knowledge checks, because they used to be called knowledge checks, but now there's another term. But there are little quiz questions scattered throughout the Intuit material that you have to take. You have to pass them in order to you don't have to pass them, you just have to take them in order to unlock the test. You can't take the final exam unless you have gone through and done all of those little internal checks. Okay, so the announcement from last week was if you are in the middle of a course and you have done some of those knowledge checks, next Monday those knowledge checks are going to be wiped out. Okay, they're not going to wipe out your progress in a particular one of those 5 courses. So you took course 1 and you passed it, you still have passed it. Okay, it's if you're in the middle of one of those courses and you've done some knowledge checks, then that's what's going to get wiped out. They're going to make you take that full course again. Okay, so that's what's changing on Monday. I don't anticipate, because this is mid-year, so the season for certification is November 1st through October 31st. And I don't anticipate that the course, that the test and all that stuff is going to have massive changes. I mean, we're going to keep on top of it. That's our job. That's what we do. But I don't anticipate that it's going to have massive, massive changes. The one in November, however, I anticipate will have massive changes. So if you're in the middle of it, just finish up the section that you're on, the course that you're on, and then you'll be fine for next week. All right, let me go back to, let's see, Chris. Yes, lots of love for Jane in the chat for talking all about COGS. All right, awesome. All right, let's see what else. Okay, so Rashi says, I'm starting level 1 certifications. Will your courses that I purchased still work? Yes, probably. Yes. I mean, I don't work for Intuit. I don't have any inside knowledge. I don't know anything about it. But I'm fully confident that it's not going to have so many changes that it will not work. And we are, starting Monday, going to be right on it. We're going to be in there to see were there changes, and you'll have the updated the updated course materials like right away. Okay. All right. Gina says, I need that assessment. I'm so excited. It's the assessment, guys, this assessment, and Lindsay knows because I've been talking about it, with her. Like, this assessment is going to be like so freaking amazing and like nothing else out there. And it's going to be able to be used for so many things. Yes, game changer, like Lindsay said. It's not just a game changer, it is an industry changer. Okay, so you'll not only be just being able to test out a fast track is just like one small piece of what this is going to be able to do that we'll be announcing shortly. So I know. Yes, Chris says we're on the cutting edge with this assessment. Like, yes, we're not just on the cutting edge, we're on like the very, very like tip top, like this is, guys, this is going to be just so, it's just going to be so incredible. So I keep thinking I'm going to have it ready for the beta testers, but then I keep running into issues. But yeah, it's, yes, the bleeding edge. That's what Mark says, the bleeding edge. All right. Okay, let's see. What else? What other things did I miss? Let's see. There's anything before we dive into marketing? Okay, here's one I missed. Joanne. I know Lindsay already said this. Okay. I'm in 3 courses right now with Acadian Gym, Fast Track, and Cleanup. I finally finished the gym year 2. Sweet! Year 2, right on. With the other courses, I know I still have access to Booksmatch, but if I decide to pause the gym, I won't have access to the exercise of the week to earn points yet. Do I really need to keep earning points for Booksmatch since I have the other courses? Okay, I don't know what Lindsay answered here, but right now, as of this moment in time, the only way to keep your Booksmatch active is to, yes, have an active membership in the gym and to continue to work on it. Okay, so if you're almost done with year 2, yes, you are why we created the exercise of the week, Joanne. That's why. So yes, you have to keep maintaining it in order to have access to the exercise of the week. However, I mentioned that we're going to be starting to incorporate the other courses into Booksmatch. So as of right now, yes, the gym is the only way, but over the next couple months, by fall, I'm just going to say fall sometime, the whole Booksmatch experience is going to be redesigned and it will capture activity in the other courses. Right now, it does not. Okay, let's see. All right, I think that I've got all of I answered that. I answered that. Good. Okay, I think we are good to go. All right, so let's talk about marketing. I'll answer that question in a minute, Keisha. Okay, so let's talk about marketing. So as a member of the QBO Gym, you unlock marketing prompts, okay? So, and here's how this came about. So I kept hearing people say, oh, I know I'm supposed to post on social media, but I don't know what to say. And I kept thinking to myself, how do you not know what to say? You're learning something new every day. Like today, you were just in this course, you learned about purchase orders. Go post about purchase orders and go post about purchase orders on your social media. So anyway, it was just kind of like blowing my mind that I was like, why don't people know like what to say? But anyway, so I decided and we were like several months into building the gym, I decided to start incorporating marketing prompts. So now if you're a member of the gym, as you are learning material, as you learn like a set of things, then it unlocks marketing prompts for you. And then you can use those to have something to talk about when you go onto social media. But with the exercise of the week, you actually get one marketing prompt per exercise. So let's take a look at today's marketing prompt. If I can find it. Okay. Share my screen again. And Joel has put in the chat the link. If you don't have the gym, if you don't have if you don't have the gym, if you don't have it unlocked or whatever, you've got it there. Just like you had the link to the exercise, you also have the marketing prompt. Okay, so here is a sample post. Okay, so we like to call these QBO quick tips. We actually teach you how to, like, we have a little mini course, our little marketing mini course, and it's free for everybody. We include it with several of the courses that you purchase, but if you want the mini course, all you have to do is ask for it, right, to support@acadian.com, and we'll unlock it for you. And one of the things that it teaches you is how to use Canva. So you can create a free Canva account. You can use it to create like your little logo and then like a little template for your QBO quick tips. We have some samples in there, the marketing prompts. We also teach you what to do with the marketing prompts. Joel put a link to the my 3-2-1 video. Guys, we are not a marketing company. Acadian is an accounting education company. We are not a marketing company. But I know that so many of you are really hungry to learn how to market yourself. So we just we have some materials that we've created ourselves. Have collected from other people that we just are putting in this course. So it's like a one-stop shop for you to get the marketing material, so you know how to use these marketing prompts. And then if you have finished Fast Track, or you have finished year 1 of the gym, or you have purchased Cleanup, then that qualifies you to actually be in our Getting Clients cohort, which is people who are actually working together to support each other, stay accountable to actually doing the marketing and getting diagnostic reviews. So if you're interested in that, we just closed the August cohort is closed now, but if you're interested in the September cohort, Joel put the link in the chat there, so you can find out more about that. Okay. But basically what we recommend, and you learn this in our marketing course, is basically when you're posting on social media, the goal is for you to just wave your flag and say, hey, I'm a bookkeeper. Actually, we want you to say, I'm a QuickBooks Online Pro Advisor. I'm a QuickBooks Online Pro Advisor. I'm a QuickBooks Online Pro Advisor. I know a lot about QuickBooks Online. I'm an expert. Come talk to me. Okay, that's the purpose of the marketing prompt. So here's today. It is QBO quick tip, ordering materials or inventory. A purchase order locks in the details before the bill arrives, so nothing gets lost, overbilled, or double paid. It's a simple step that adds control and clarity to your spending, and it's a feature built right into QuickBooks. No extra charge, nothing to plug in, not using POs yet? Let's get you set up. Okay, so this is just a quick thing that you can go and you can post on social media. If you have a niche, you can make this a niche specific. Okay, I build these with when I first started doing them for the ones in the gym, I just wrote them myself. But now most of the time when I get on here, this just came from ChatGPT. I created a ChatGPT, and I plug in, I actually give it the link to the scribe. The exact same scribe that you did, I gave it the link and I said, write a QBO quick tip about this. Now it knows, I'm going to stop sharing. It does know, I had to train it on what a QBO quick tip should sound like. I had previously, several months ago, I had given it, okay, here's a bunch of the scribes, here's a bunch of the QBO quick tips that I wrote in conjunction so it could get a feel for what I like the QBO quick tips to be like, what my voice sounds like, and now it knows me. So now all I have to do is go in and I'm like, here's today's link, and I put in the link and it gives me a QBO quick tip. And today's I had to adjust a little bit. It wasn't quite right, but sometimes I have a further conversation, and if you come to the Friday lives, then sometimes we go into ChatGPT and we go through it. There's another thing in the marketing course that is our chief marketing officer did a workshop and taught you guys on like all of these techniques, and there's a big ChatGPT prompt in there that he gave, like gives like a huge table of like ideas of things you could post about. Like, it's crazy. I mean, so anyway, so we give that all to you for free. All right, I have some questions. I have a question from Keisha more about Booksmatch. Okay. So let me address that unless I see any. Okay, let's talk about, go back to talking about Booksmatch. So Keisha says, hi Margie, are we connected with potential clients in Booksmatch? So let me go back to Booksmatch again. And well, actually, yeah. Okay, I guess I can show it here. Share. Okay. So here again is Booksmatch. Now I am looking at this as if I were a recruiter, and we have a recruiter portal where they can go and they can sign up, and when they sign up, they go to what they call the talent finder. Okay, the talent finder is, oh, Randall, you got to get a picture there, man. This is the icon that comes up. One of the key things you got to do is you got to add your profile. Okay, so this is the first thing that comes in, and everybody is ranked based on what I said, those three indicators: knowledge, consistency, and speed. Okay, so this is, I mean, this changes at this moment in time. Billy is number one, but an hour from now, somebody else is, like, you all have been just working on your thing, right? Your exercise of the week right now, so that's going to change the ranking. But the anyway, so they can come in here and they can look, and they can look at your profile. They can click, and then they can see the details about you. Okay, now the only way this works is, number one, if you are subscribed to the gym, and number two, if you open up your profile. So in the gym, and I'm looking at it as a recruiter, but you, from your side, you have a little toggle that says open to work, and that's what makes your profile visible. Okay, so now this, remember how I said that there's so many moving pieces. Okay, so I mentioned that we are totally revamping Booksmatch. Okay, so we're revamping Booksmatch, one, because we want it to be not just QBO skills, but also all of your other knowledge skills, like when you're going through fast track, when you're going through cleanup. We're going to incorporate all of that. We're also going to change up the talent finder in a number of ways. One is so that these have like more about you. Okay, because what we've discovered is that the recruiters come in here and they don't really know what they're looking at. So this is going to change the this whole interface here is going to change also. So it'll takes a minute to load, but this information, like the information about Billy here is buried. See how you have to go, I have to click it and I have to go clear down here. So we're going to make this so that you are more so that all of the stuff about you is more prominent. Okay. So as I said, this is your opportunity to, if you have ideas or you're like, oh, I really wish that it would do such and such, then now's the time to tell us. So, so to answer part of the question is that when we, as we have been developing Booksmatch, I'm going to take off screen share again because so I'm not so tiny. Okay. As we developed Booksmatch, we realized that there were, we consider like 3 different, what I call buckets. So the buckets are, number 1, and these are like the people that we're going to go after to shine a spotlight on you. We are trying to shine a spotlight on you with the ultimate goal of you making money and making an impact. Like our goal here at Acadian, by the way, if you don't know, our goal here at Acadian is create bookkeepers so good that people don't want to work with anybody else. Okay? So we want you to, number 1, be so good that nobody wants to work with anybody else, and then that by doing that, then all of our bookkeepers are getting work because you're just so good, right? So that's our goal here. So so as we've been developing Booksmatch, we consider that there are 3 buckets. Okay, so the first bucket is people who have posted, who are actively looking for a bookkeeper, and we know this because they have posted a job opening on LinkedIn or on Monster or Indeed. Okay, so the first thing that we did, because that was the easiest, was we reached out, we went out and we reached out to thousands of job postings and said, hey, we'll make your job easier and we'll just send, we're going to make your job easier and you can just come pick from our pool of bookkeepers. And we got a ton of great response from that. And by the way, we're going to do the same thing with the assessment. But anyway, so we got a ton of response for that. People came to the website. They reached out to the people that were on Booksmatch, but they were offering jobs, and the people that we have primarily in our pool of candidates are just looking for freelance work. They don't want a job. And so we put a pause on that campaign until we have a chance to redesign Booksmatch and make it much more obvious which of you want a job versus which of you will only accept freelance work. It's already in there, sort of, but it's kind of buried, and so we're going to make that more prominent. That's part of the whole process. So that was the first bucket. The second bucket was accounting firms. So we said, okay, well, we're going to go to all these accounting firms and tell them about you. We're going to say, oh, look, we've got these amazing, well-trained people. If you're hiring, why don't you just pull, from ours? And so that's why I told you we hired a full-time person whose whole job it is to knock on doors and talk to accounting firms. And he did that. And what we heard over and over and over was, but do they know bookkeeping? Because QBO skills was not enough. And so we said, oh, okay, well, no, we only teach QBO. Let's teach the bookkeeping fundamentals. I told that whole story already. We got the advisory council together, we developed, and that's what Fast Track is. Fast Track is those fundamentals. So when the accounting firms say, but do they know but do they know accounting? We can say, yes, yes, they do. And here's all the stats, and here's, how amazing they are. Okay, so that was bucket number 2. We just finished with that. So now we're in the process, and the assessment is just that's like the final piece of that. Okay, bucket number 3 is businesses. So businesses that that need bookkeepers will now be able to go directly to a highly qualified bookkeeper that is an Acadian that has Acadian stamp of approval. They'll be able to then sign up for Booksmatch and do the same thing and pick you up. That's the grand plan. That is where we are headed. Now, you had also asked about the watch lists. So let me, for those of you who don't know, let me go back into the thing. Okay. So, so notice here on Billy's profile, there's an option that says add to watch list. If I add Billy to my watch list, that can mean like I see him, I found him, you know, and I liked his stuff, but I'm not ready to hire yet, or I'm waiting for him to get more in there. So I just kind of want to, it's like marking a favorite as a favorite, right? And so I just want to keep an eye on him. So if I add him to my watch list as a recruiter, I can go to this little candidate tracker, and I can see like who's on my watch list, what have they been doing, what skills have they, you know, since I last checked their profile, what skills have they added. And then on your side, it says you have been added to X number of watch lists. And then they can also actually contact you through Booksmatch. And this was an improvement we actually made recently, was based on your feedback, not you in particular, Keisha, but feedback of you guys, is that we weren't notifying, like we weren't sending an email when somebody opened a chat. And so what was happening was recruiters were reaching out to people, but like they didn't even know that they were there. So we made that, we now get an email when somebody opens a conversation with you, so that you can proceed and talk to them and do the diagnostic review. Okay. All right. Let's see. That is everything. Okay. Let's see. All right. I think I have gotten everything today. Keisha, you're welcome. This is why, guys, if you're watching this on YouTube, this is why you got to come live. This is why you got to join the locker room and come join us live, because you get to get your questions answered, get your questions answered and interact with us and actually do the exercise and all that stuff. So, guys, that is it. It is, this was a long one, but this is good. Like, you got to see what the new interface looks like. And we all flooded them with feedback and said, please update the test drive like right away so we can practice. And then, yeah, so it's all good stuff. And yay! So Chris says, thanks for everything, Margie, especially for showing us the new interface. That was super helpful. All right, you guys are amazing. You guys are wonderful. Let's make it happen. Have a fantastic weekend. I can't wait to hear your success story. Bye-bye.